happy 2022. We made it. I'm so excited. I wanted to spend a little bit of time today talking about food and energy and really how I work with clients and owning their own energy in relationship to food. I know a lot of people this time of year make intentions and changes around their diet, around their health and well-being. And so I just wanted to give you a little bit of insight and my perspective on how that relates to your energetic field, your energy, owning your energy, and your relationship with food and well-being. So I wanted to start off by saying that I have a very intense relationship with food. I love food, all food, and I focus mainly on healthy food because that's what works for me and my body. But as a child, I was heavy, and I was heavy in a family of thin, beautiful people. So I definitely stood out like a sore thumb. At 10, I went on Weight Watchers with my grandmother. So I learned more about healthy food and portion size. And luckily for me, I had a family that did eat really healthily and really supported me and empowered me in that process and making healthy food choices. And that set up me for a life of being empowered to make healthy food choices and healthy choices for myself, which was fantastic. So I know some people are like, wow, you went on Weight Watchers at 10, but for me, it was very supportive and actually led to a very positive outcome. I say all that because I have a very strong firsthand experience of how emotion relates to food and relates to craving and relates to weight and health. And as my understanding of energy has expanded and unfolded, I have an even deeper understanding of those relationships. So it's really fun for me to work with people with food because it's so important in life, and it's something that I really like and appreciate a great deal. Okay, so that's kind of the backstory on why food is really interesting for me and why I love to work with clients and help them feel empowered around their food choices and their health choices. But how it relates to your energy field. So it is fascinating to see how it shows up. And a lot of this, while I recognized that emotion and food were super linked, I didn't really see or understand it in the energetic field until I became a biofield tuner and I worked with Eileen McCusick, who's the founder of Biofield Tuning. And she was really able to highlight and identify that certain foods, the cravings and addiction to certain foods related specifically to certain emotions. And scientifically, we see this now is true. But we also, as energy workers, see it in the field and can pull it out in the field, which is really interesting as well. But sugar relates to anger and fat relates to abandonment and loneliness. So sugar cravings are really an opportunity for us to suppress or repress anger and frustration. And fat cravings are really an opportunity for us to suppress and repress loneliness and abandonment. And so just me saying that, lots of you may find that you may recognize that pattern in your life. And that is helpful. It's a really helpful recognition because lots of times these patterns get started very, very young in life. And by the time we are in adulthood or we're able to recognize it, we no longer even see the connection because the suppression and repression happens so fast. Like you may no longer recognize that you're even angry when you've just eaten a whole bag of cookies, right? Or when you have to have sugar. You may not even recognize that there was an emotional trigger before the eating of the sugar or even after the eating of the sugar. You're just like, why do I want to eat so much sugar? But your system is already programmed. I mean, granted, there may be other things going on, but from an energy and emotion level, your system is already programmed. Like before you even recognize the anger, you go straight to the sugar to suppress and repress it, because it just happens that fast. Same with fatty stuff, right? That you just eat the cheese before, or the French fries, or whatever kind of that fatty craving is for you, before you even recognize that you're sad and lonely. And for me, that one came up for me around my father's passing. Like I actually really recognized that pattern as my father was very ill and leaving. That was what that I went to fat cravings for that. So you might just on hearing this be able to go back and be like, oh, wow, I see that pattern show up in my life. Um, and so why is that helpful, and how does that relate to owning your own energy? Because those patterns get so set up that you're not even in conscious control of your energetic pattern anymore, right? You've already given your choice away, that program, that thought pattern is set, and you don't even recognize it, right? And so the first step is recognizing that you have the program. And then once you recognize it, then you can start to unwind it and shift it. And so it's the hard part. I'm not going to lie to you, but it's also really empowering to be like, oh, there is an underlying reason why that craving exists and why it's there. And so our work together is recognizing what those are for you. And then I create a supportive space and some reflection so that you can see where those emotional triggers are. So that instead of being at the place of looking at your empty bag of sugary cookies, saying to yourself, wow, why did that just happen? Right? You can be at the place of, oh my gosh, that person just made me so angry. What am I now going to do with that emotion? What am I now going to do with that energy? Am I going to give it all away to a bag of cookies? Right? Or am I going to learn how to process it in a healthy way so that my energy is my own? And I'm really able to use that fuel, that anger, that fire for change, instead of just letting the sugar burn it up, right? So it's really a profound shift in the way that you relate to food and the way that you look at food. Um, and it's really a change in that instead of just feeling disempowered that you're not strong enough to control your cravings, you can unwind the patterns and that cause the cravings, so that you just don't have the cravings anymore, that you can be in this place of neutrality, that the anger doesn't drive you to a food decision, right? The anger is just anger, or the abandonment and loneliness is just an emotion, right? So if you can process that and work through that, then you don't have the craving for the food. So your food choices are no longer determined by your emotional state, right? Your food choices are determined by your desire of what looks exciting and fresh and vibrant, that what is going to be nurturing and healthy and healthful for your system and your energy level, and help you really eat for what your body and your system desires versus what your emotional state dictates. And that is so much fun, and it makes food so much more enjoyable, and your relationship with food life enhancing versus adversarial oftentimes, or challenging. So hopefully that's helpful on how the process of owning your own energy and really being able to be responsible for your energy and your emotional state in relationship to food, as well as other life choices. But food's a big topic right now. So I just wanted to give you a different perspective on how that works. If you have any questions, just reach out. You can email me, DM me, or set up a call to talk further. All right, good luck with 2022, and I can't wait to see how it unfolds.